So throughout 2024, I made various purchases. We had some fancy sovereigns in terms of different mint marks and things like that. A couple of graded pieces. We got was this a Canada sovereign? Yes, it was. This was the 1919 Canada. We had some more nice King George V sovereigns. This is another 1924M. So a duplicate, but a nice example nonetheless. I picked up a few 10-ounce coins, bits and pieces, some Britannias. This is the Royal Arms. Had the Coronation coin, which, what was the date on this? Was this 2023? Yeah, but I only picked it up this year in 2024. Added to the half sovereigns, just a few more King George V half sovereigns. Ticking off the dates and mint marks when I can. There are some that are a bit more tricky than others, but we're making some decent progress. In terms of the shield sovereigns, I didn't make a lot of progress on the date run there. Essentially, I've got to a bit of a sticking point with the last 7 that I need, and they are just higher premium coins. So if they pop up, relatively normal premiums, or I say normal for like basic bullion or bullion shields, and I will pick them up, but I don't fancy just paying like an arm and a leg for the sake of getting the dates just yet. We'll see. Watch this space. There, it's a slippery slope, isn't it? We're probably going to end up buying them at some point. But I also picked up a few bits of US gold. So we have the $10 here. Really nice design with the 1909 Indian head there. Also picked up this one, which is the Use, and this is a lovely coin. I think just one of the nicer coins out there. Modern bullion, maybe the Buffalo is my favourite. Just modern 1 ounce bullion coin. But yeah, this is a stunning coin. Really like this $5, and yeah, I picked this up as well. I also picked up more of the Tudor Beasts. I picked those up in the 1 ounce versions and the 1/4 ounce versions. So this is the Tudor Dragon, very similar pose to the other Tudor Beasts. The Unicorn was also 2024, and the next one after the Dragon is the Panther. So you might have seen that by now, maybe not. Depends. So yeah, I've picked those up in 1 ounce. I am wondering, whether to just stick with the 1/4 ounce for collecting those in the future, and perhaps, just not go with the full 1 ounces. But yeah, we'll see. I feel like the smaller gold is becoming more popular on the sort of second-hand market, and therefore dealers are basically, when you look at their buyback prices and their selling prices, they do reflect that. They are paying more close to spot for the sovereigns, for example, and then further away from spot for the 1 ounce coins. So even seeing as low as like 5% below on some of the main dealers for reasonable 1 ounce coins, bullion coins. But with a lot of tax changes in the UK, that are they really that affecting gold that much? Not necessarily, but for some individuals they may do. I don't see it making such a big odds, but if you can just buy a coin that won't be currently affected by capital gains tax changes on the thresholds, for example, then perhaps you are not too worried. But perhaps if you're going to be buying it, you might as well just buy what's best and what suits the rules the best. So there is that. I do get why people are doing that. For some people who are only invested in gold and they don't necessarily have things like shares or other things outside of an ISA, for example, the allowances are not very large, so you will be paying tax very quickly. Just for example, one trade in shares might put you over the tax threshold for capital gains, and therefore you're paying it on your gold and things like that. So yeah, with all that said, there are perhaps some behavioural changes in what stackers are buying, what stackers are stacking. Obviously we know the sovereigns are nice and people like them. They're a good option in the UK. The Britannia is not bad either, maybe with a slightly higher premium, but yeah, with the sovereigns, they do seem to be the fan favourite at the moment. I've seen the Gillick sovereigns getting quite a premium recently, seems to be getting very popular. I haven't seen that many shields coming up in general, just just over the last year or so, doesn't seem to be as many. But there still seems to be a decent supply of just reasonable quality bullion sovereigns, and I think people are getting a bit more choosy. When you look at the market, there's perhaps more sellers than there is buyers, and so the sellers become competitive, lowering the prices, and obviously the premiums come down. But yeah, on certain items, so some items just seem to go very quickly, some items they seem to be hanging around for a little bit longer. So in terms of my stacking, I've just been adding gradually. I didn't make any crazy additions in one go or anything like that. In terms of my approach for gold, it's just to accumulate over time. In terms of actual trading the gold price, I do that via spread betting and other means, so I'm not really using physical gold to trade on the gold price, although it is part of my long-term savings, and it is exposure to gold within that. It's not like I'm planning to buy and sell coins in the short term, maybe over years rather than days or weeks. So in terms of my plan, just continuing to accumulate nice sovereigns as they come up. I will pick up nice half sovereigns as well, and then just if there's anything interesting that comes up at a fair price when I happen to be shopping, then yeah, I might just buy the odd other thing. It just depends what comes up really. But I think in general the current trends seem to be towards things like the sovereigns, the smaller coins, and like I say, with premiums being squeezed down a little bit lately, I think for that reason some of the smaller gold has been quite attractive. Obviously we've seen the gold price push up over 30% or around 30%. I can't just remember exactly off the top of my head, but approximately 30% over 2024. And for that reason, it's come quite quickly, and people are perhaps just getting used to the prices of things, at the moment. So when I was starting to buy the Tudor Beasts, I think these were around £1,500. We weren't at $2,000 even in the gold price, and now an ounce is $2,000, nearly 200, or 2,700 in dollars. So it's taken a bit getting used to for these prices, and I do wonder perhaps people who are on a fixed wage, if they're employed and perhaps don't have that much influence over their actual salary or their output they can achieve, then have the salaries gone up 30% in a year? I don't think so. So, I suppose people will either cut back on buying gold, or they'll cut back on other things to carry on buying gold at the same rate. People will have to make choices in general. So perhaps it becomes easier to buy half sovereign every month instead of a sovereign, or if you were buying kilos, then maybe now you're only buying a couple of ounces a month. Who knows? So it's an interesting one. What did you see over 2024? And I'm curious, what do you think will happen in 2025? Are we going to see the gold price go higher? Are we going to see it go lower? Is everyone going to start buying bars or coins with unicorns on them? What do you reckon, guys? Looking forward to chatting in the comments, and we'll see you on the next one.